Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you some stats to review. And well, technically, I didn't bring them to you. Stat Check did. So with that said, go check out Stat Check. Um, Now, I do want to talk about the stats either way. Because, I like to see what's going on with Tyranids. And funnily enough, we are smack dab in the middle, like as a middle of you could be possibly 50% middle, just middle. So that was kind of funny to me, but being middle of the road does have some good news, some funny news to say. So let's take a look at what we are doing in Tyranids. Surprise, surprise! Our best performing detachments are Subterranean Assault and Invasion Fleet. They both have won one tournament. And Subterranean Assault, well, we'll go bottom up. We'll get the Subterranean Assault because it's just fitting that we go from the bottom and come up. Uh, so, going to my favorite, Assimilation Swarm, there's even good news here as it rests at 40% on the win rate. If you look at the overrep, that being top 4 player population percentage over overall player percentage, the higher the number, the larger the overrep, is at a 2.0. So wow, there's only 6 people played, I should say, Assimilation Swarm with a 40% win rate. Hey, look, it didn't look too bad out of those games. So, could be better. And I'm glad that there's some assimilation swarm truthers out there still, because that is still a pretty, I'd say, healthy sign. Now, uh, is it? And I think the other thing here, right? Assimilation swarm, in my opinion, uh, still gives you enough flexibility with the list. Kind of. Well, I'll explain the kind of. That you can do some wins over Admech, Deathwatch, Sisters, and definitely Space Marines. Oh boy, those numbers make me ill. But so there's that. Now the Psychophage losing the Feel No Pain aura, pretty big blow to Assimilation Swarm. List that wanted to continue to survive. If you are inclined to, I don't want to say mine, but like the route of Assimilation Sword play that I prefer. I shouldn't say prefer really, because I did like the Feel No Pain, but that I enjoy of sacrificing harvesters more or less to get that +1 wound out there and just throwing shit at people's faces and then regenning if they don't deal with putting bad situations out there seems to still be okay enough right now. Can't attest to the other Assimilation Swarm players all the way on that one, but I would just say that while the Feel No Pain is gone, the aura is gone off the Psychophage. The build not necessarily being, oh, let me just keep putting a Tyrant Guard here with a Feel No Pain or a bunch of tiny bodies with a Feel No Pain. There's still some areas of play with Assimilation Swarm that might be serviceable at this time. Then we come to Crusher Stampede, higher win rate, but this is with 11 players, and it's only 4% difference, and the overrep is lower. So out of 47 games, a 44% win rate, Crusher Stampede, I'd say arguably, is not looking as good in comparison to Assimilation Swarm, even though it has the higher win rate. Because that's, well, 5 more players, and, well, let's see, what was that, 21 games? Yeah, 21 game difference. And only breaking 4% more win rate and having less overrep. I'd say that Crusher Stampede, as much as I would love for it to still be a thing, and we have seen in past months, I guess not even weeks at this point, past months, that triple Norn backslash triple triples, that being the chunky bodies, the Haruspex, the Exocrine, Maliceptor, still have some area to do a thing here and there. We've also seen Screamer Killer inclusion. So all of that to say that there are some things that we might still be able to cheat out with Crusher Stampede here and there, but right now it's not looking that amazing for us. And then we come on to Vanguard Onslaught at 45%. Oh, Vanguard Onslaught, how do you keep doing this? And by this, I mean it does tend to hover at the 45 to 38 ish percentage. But then, it does still have at least something to note every time we talk about it, where 7% of Vanguard Onslaught players that brought it, out of 14 players, 63 games, started with a 4-0 event start. So, while, again, by comparison, I'd say that looking at win rate in comparison to player count, uh, I'm not as high on it as I would be Assimilation Swarm right now. This does still go to show that if you are a confident player with Vanguard Onslaught, you can 4-0 event start. You can still play the game in such a manner, and I will say, looking at once again the top end of the meta, Vanguard Onslaught can really only deal with tiny bodies. And guess what? There's tiny bodies. Admech, Deathwatch, Sisters, Space Marines, Eldari, and GSC. Um, kind of winch at those because not as well. They have bullshit. Like let's be honest. Space Marines and Eldari get bullshit. Sisters have bullshit, but it's usually not too much durability bullshit. So, and yeah, Death Watch is still a Space Marine, but Space Marine means other Space Marine shit too. Death Watch not so much. So, Vanguard Onslaught, it does have, I wouldn't say a playground, but a ground to play in the current scheme of what's going on at the top end. That said, you still have to worry about other things going on. Like, people are playing other armies still. Like, these are not terrible win rates, and player populations as well across the other factions. But if we're looking at a whole lot of Sisters and Space Marine bodies, Vanguard Onslaught at least can not suffer too much in the scheme of things. Then we come to Synaptic Nexus, which 3 players, 46%, 14 games played. Unfortunately, nothing else to really note out of here. No overrep, no 4-0 event starts. And I guess I'm going to say this part because it took me a second, early morning brain, to go, how can the 4-0 event start and then overrip do here? Probably just ended the event, 4-1. So that means that you lost the fourth game. You won 3, then lost the next one, and then clutched up on the last one, right? That's where we're going here. Meanwhile, 4-0 event start means that you won 4 straight, and you possibly were about to get the 5-0, but went down 4-1. That's kind of the just, if any of the newer players are wondering how the fuck that would work, that's probably what happened there. But coming back to Synaptic Nexus, unfortunately, nothing really to note. Only 3 players, 14 games played, 46%. Synaptic Nexus can at least win you a game or two, right? That's fine enough for some people. It still is looking at the signs of age because it's still below half. It's still below 50, and it's not. Well, it's close in the scheme of being within 5%, which I guess most people would call it close, but if I'm looking at 3 players busting out Synaptic Nexus, I would still want something of note like Vanguard Onslaught, where somebody that is confident in Synaptic Nexus is getting a 4 and 0, or ending 4 and 1. Right? That's kind of where I would want Synaptic Nexus before I say that it's in a state that is fine to play with things going on right now. Then we come to Warrior Bioform Onslaught, which I think you all are doing this just to troll me. Somehow it keeps ending up at 50% with 2 players playing the shit. Whoever you 2 people are out there playing Warrior Bioform Onslaught and making it so that you just get it right on the head 50%. Don't know how the fuck you 2 are coordinating this, but you know what? Power to you. That's funny as fuck. I'm so serious. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was literally one. No, I look. I still put it up, and I could have checked my other videos before coming to this one. But I don't know how it keeps happening. Warrior Bioform Onslaught will be at 50%. Somebody will go 3 and 2. Somebody will go 2 and 3, and that's how you all do Warrior Bioform Onslaught out here. If that's happy for you, happy for you. On the plus side, there should be at least a new model this year for you to play this. Maybe by the end of the edition. I could have sworn they said spring, though, thinking about it right now. I don't know. But that was a lot of talking for literally nothing but 2 players on War Bioform Onslaught. Can't say anything past that. Then Invasion Fleet is Invasion Fleet. However, out of 66 players, it does have a 51% win rate. And it does have 0.91 overrep. I'd say I am worried that out of 66 players, the 4 0 event start is only 2%. It does have a tournament win, so that is to say, out of all of the players, I think, the one person that won the tournament makes the 2%? No, okay, maybe not that drastic, but it's not that good. Quick maths, that isn't hot. However, 51% is good to look at, right? Invasion Fleet, being the index generalist detachment, can do index generalist detachment shit, which means you can build a list that, much like Vanguard Onslaught, can deal with the little shits. And us as a faction, the Tyranids is good with dealing with the little shits. Now, that comes with the caveat of they also hurt us. So Vanguard Onslaught, you're tricky, you have movement shit. That's kind of the vibe there. You can survive and not being hit. Invasion Fleet, you kind of just have to take the hit and you hope that your damage output between sustained or lethal and whatever the fuck else you're putting in the list will do enough damage to the top end. And hey, as a whole, on paper, we can put it out to the smaller shit, but it's kind of hard for us to clutch up because we, by comparison, are turning slowly and more slowly into paper as far as our defenses go. So, Invasion Fleet does Invasion Fleet shit, 51%, 50. It'll do index shit. But the final one that probably is the most noteworthy, and not just because it is at the top end, Subterranean Assault. 52% on the win rate, 1.23, we like to see that, 123, on overrep, and 12% on a 4-0 event start, but yet only 1 win. That is kind of baffling. I guess not baffling, but that is wild. And that is to say, this is after 49 players, 231 games played. So, yeah, if you're looking to 4-0 event start, you probably want to do it with Subterranean Assault. And much like Invasion Fleet, it has been constructed in a way in which you can put a lot of different shit in it. And it does patch up some of our weaknesses. Well, our main, I shouldn't even say main, a big one of our weaknesses being trying to get things in place. We don't have vehicles. We have a drop pod, but I use that very loosely. Have very loosely. So, giving us the ability to put some of our monsters on a line, some of our infantry in the spot that they need to be to get the charge off. Subterranean assault, you know it's good. We've been here for a while, but I will say the 12% this time around, it's pretty noteworthy. Like 12% 4 and 0, giving us a 52% win rate. Now, that said, um, it is our it is in conversation with Invasion Fleet for being our best detachment. But with that, when you have the general tournament mentality, I guess, eh, what I'm trying to say is that the better detachments will attract the better players. There will be some people that absolutely love Vanguard Onslaught and will do well with it because they are cracked and they have known the ins and outs of that list. Like I'm thinking at least two right now. You'll have the same thing with Assimilation Swarm where it'll pump up the numbers. But when most players, most of the better of the player population goes, that's the shit that can actually make me win with the army, and I'm a good player. You're going to Subterranean Assault. So the 12% does surprise me in the fact that, damn, that means that even the people that are just like, oh, this is fun, are coming up on more unexpected, like, or not unexpected, but more wins than I think that they might have expected going into it. Or it's just like, oh no, our best attachment is Subterranean Assault. I'm going to play that this weekend, and I can finally play Tyranids in a way that doesn't absolutely suck ass right now. So you take that, and then you go, oh shit, I went 4-0 at the start. That was kind of nice, but you didn't have at least like one or two of the pro players, right, putting it over the edge, or more pro players. So you get the one event win because we are still Tyranids. So while 12% 4-0 event start, maybe we just don't have the same tools that the fucking top end has. We just don't. We have better shit than what we started with, but it's still just not to the same quality as the top end shit, which will keep it pretty down from converting the 4 and O's to 5 and O's, right? That's kind of where we are on that one. So, Subterranean Assault still looking like our hot stuff. We like our hot stuff. And we just got power crept, really. Like, we know that maybe if we get another boost or two, doesn't seem likely right now. But, maybe we go up. But, and that was a couple of butts back to back, so sorry about that. But being smack dab in the middle isn't the worst place to be. Most people would argue that's exactly where you want to be. We don't necessarily have to be at the top end. We don't have to necessarily be winning every tournament. We just have to not feel down here, right? We don't want to be the Imperial Agents where 7 people have played them and absolutely no wins. Oh goodness, I thought it was literally going to say 0. I did that confidently too. Uh-oh. So sorry to those 7 players. Yeah, you don't want to be Imperial Agents. And arguably, you don't want to be AdMech either. Where some people might, most people, I'd say, wouldn't want to be there either. This is the sweet spot to most game balance enjoyers. So being in the sweet spot right now, that's fine, but is it in comparison to the fact that this shit has newer rules compared to this shit? Yes, that looks like the majority of the case, except for Astra Militarum, which I am kind of surprised is down here at 47%. However, it has the same Space Marine thing where it has 7 fucking wins. But you have a lot of dad gamers that are just like, this is my Astra Militarum army I've been playing. since I was 12. And they will bring that out because it has new rules and so on and so forth. But this is a Tyranids video, and I've said but way too many times in the video. I apologize. This is now going to haunt me at night. So, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.